Hi guys, Zach here with another Command & Conquer Red Alert video. In this game I'm playing a 4v4 match on the map Potholes. I'm standing in the top right position playing as the Allies. Now what you can see is I've moved my MCV to the left, and that's really important because it gets me near that ore patch, so I can replace my ore refineries right next to the ore at the start. It just means that those ore trucks are going to have less distance to travel each time they collect some ore. I'm also moving my infantry downwards because I'm right at the back of the base of my teammates. So I've got dead minute for minute below me. I've also got B Dizzle to the south, like sort of to the southwest. I'm right at the back, so I don't have to worry too much about infantry getting into my base. What I do have to do though is provide some support to my teammates just in case the back teams at the other end decide to send some infantry as well. So I'm sending some infantry here right over to B Dizzle's base. As you can see, there's like a main entry point there to our side of the map. There's also other entry points on the right side and on the left side of the map also. Now I've got my first war factory down. Now because it's a ore only map, that means there's no gems. I'm going to build another ore refinery before I build my second war factory. I've also got 2 ore trucks lined up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get a nice big economy. I'm starting at the back and I'll be able to hopefully provide some assistance to my teammates. I'm just having a little look there. It looks like B Dizzle's got quite a lot of infantry out, so his base is well defended for the time being. It doesn't look like the other teams are doing too much. And I've just sold my barracks because I don't really need it anymore, so it'd be using up power, which I wouldn't need to use. Now Pink had too many infantry to get through the middle, so what I'm trying to do now is I'm going to go for red. So you can see he's got some infantry laid out there. And what I'm doing is I'm just providing a little bit of hassle. What that'll do is it'll probably delay the build order because they're trying to like sort out the troops to defend. And it can also make them produce more infantry, more than they'd like, and then they'll have less ore to spend on other things like buildings and tanks. And we could see that Pink were going through B Dizzle's base, and it looks like they're going to actually go around the back. And what they're trying to do is he's only got about 2 tanks, so what he's doing is he's just doing a bit of scouting. But if we can get those tanks down, that'll be pretty good because then he'll have 2 tanks less, and that can make quite a big difference at this time of game. So I think we sort of got 1 tank and there's another tank also, and it looks like we're going to get that as well. So, well, maybe not. They are a bit fast. Now what we're going to have a look at is what happened for dead for minute. So we can see those 2 tanks coming up to B Dizzle's base, and those are going past me, and you can see immediately dead for the minute going up to where B Dizzle is, and in through the back comes Killer Flow. So now dead for minute's completely out of position. His tanks are at the other side, and it's just going for a straight MCV kill or construction yard kill. And you can see there's just nothing you can do about it. And that's the problem with sometimes with these light tanks, is they just can dart around. And that's exactly what they're doing at the moment. They're just darting around and destroying all the buildings. And at this time, what I'm doing is I'm preoccupied with those pink tanks in my base, so I don't actually see this until the very end. And you can see him just getting, like his base getting annihilated. And then when I do realise, when I've dealt with the pink tanks, it's just too late to do anything. So he's already been destroyed. And what he needed to have is that like bottleneck guarded, and then he might have stood a chance. And there's dead for minute out of the game. And what we're going to have a look at is what happened at B Dizzle's base. So this was just after those light tanks got destroyed. And you can see Armadillo's gone for the attack. He's got 3 light tanks in, and he's also going for the construction yard. There's a Tesla coil there, and the Tesla coil probably needs to be just a little bit to the right because it's sort of like missing those tanks. But now Armadillo, who's playing as a pink, has destroyed the construction yard. He's going for some power buildings, and now you can see him pulling back to his base. The thing is though, because he lost like some tanks at the start, and then he's lost further tanks there, he actually doesn't have too many tanks left to defend. So here, B Dizzle has the better tank numbers. So we're going to see how he does here. We can see that Killer Flow is going through his base. He's just destroyed dead for a minute, and I'm going after Killer Flow. But we can see B Dizzle's got the better tank numbers now. He's taken out the war factory for Armadillo. He's also now going for the ore refinery. You'll probably have another ore refinery, I would imagine, at this stage further back, but that's one ore refinery down, and now he's taken out some of those tanks, and you can see they're on very low HP, and there's not too many of them, and now he's going for the power plant, and there's a construction yard. Now that'll be quite big if he can get the construction yard down, then Armadillo's not going to be able to build any more buildings, and you can see him selling it just before it was destroyed, so he did get a bit of funds from that, and you can see my tanks moving through at the moment. And we're going to go back to game view because we could see B-Dizzle had the upper hand there. So this is earlier when Killer Flow went to B-Dizzle's base. What I was sort of doing is I was chasing him down, and I was just chasing after his tanks. Now the problem with light tanks is they're faster than medium tanks. I did manage to squash quite a few of the infantry, but the problem is that Tesla Coil's offline because he's low on power. And then I was chasing him, and what I saw Killer Flow do is then just go to the left base, and I thought, right, now here what's going to happen is Killer Flow's just going to run around the map destroying my allies' main buildings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go to Killer Flow's base instead, because it's just, you're playing like a losing battle if you're just trying to chase like tanks around the map that are continuously moving, because you're not going to get any good hits on them or anything like that. So here I go for Killer Flow's base, and this is where you can see B-Dizzle taking out most of Armadillo's army and his main buildings. And while I go past, while I'm driving my medium tanks past, I just destroy that power plant, putting him on low power, so he's got no power at all, and that'll mean his building speed's really low, and I do just help with get a shot in on the tanks there. And now you can see Killer Flow's actually gone back to the base now that I've and I'm getting an extra war factory down and building a pillbox, getting ready for an attack on my base. Now what's quite surprising is when I come here, there's been no base expansion into this area, which you'd usually expect from the bottom left player. So what I'm going to do, and we can see Killer Flow actually going for my base. Luckily, I've got that like ore refinery sort of blocking it quite a bit, so it's going to take a little bit of time and delay him getting in. And now we're in Killer Flow's base, so we can see he's got an ore refinery there. So we're going to destroy that. That shouldn't be too fast. I'm just going to have a look at my building, place another pillbox, just provide a little bit more defence. And now we've destroyed that ore refinery, and now we're going for the war factory. So that war factory is going down, and it's destroyed. The power plant now, and that's destroyed. You can see I've lost my MCV. I can't build any more buildings, but we're going to destroy that war factory. And we can see he doesn't actually have a construction yard, and Killer Flow is out of the game. Now what happened to Killer Flow, what Killer Flow did is he just built an ore refinery, 2 war factories, and then sold his MCV after building 1 ore truck, and then just went straight to light tanks. Now that was something that people used to use in quick match games, and you still do see people using that occasionally. I don't really like using it in team games because it leads to short games and not much happening. But there you go. Anyway, it didn't work out this time because when it got to a base race, he didn't have any buildings left, and I was able to destroy that last building before he did any major damage to my base. What we're going to have a look at now is what happened in the top left, because this is something we haven't seen any action in, because I didn't actually go to the top left at any point so far. So this is a bit earlier on in the game, and you can see the blue heavy tanks attacking those red heavy tanks in the base. He's trying to push through the bottleneck here, and let's see if he's going to be able to do this. It looks like red at the moment didn't have as many tanks, but he actually had some tanks going from behind. So now Log, I'll call him Log, is going back to his base now, and we'll have to see what does red go for. He could go for anything at this point. He's got some ore refineries down here, some war factories. He's also got the MCV at the top, and now he looks like he's going for the war factory, but he's managed to defend against that. What he's going to have to be careful of though is that MCV at the top, the construction yard, because those heavy tanks do a lot of damage. And you can see Killer Flow going in, and as soon as he realises I'm going to his base, he just backtracks immediately. So that was a good idea for me not to follow Killer Flow there. And now we can see there's a bit of a fight. Now what's happened here is red has gone for an attack on Log's base, but he's done no damage at all. And what's happened is he's lost a lot of tanks. So what we can see is Log is just building up his tank numbers all the time. And as red sends the tanks in and loses them, the tank mass from blue is just getting larger and larger. But now we see red going for the construction yard. We're going to have to see, is he going to be able to get it down? Blue's got a lot of tanks there. It's almost down, but blue just manages to save that construction yard. And that's just because he's got so many heavy tanks at the moment. He can just rip apart red's tanks so fast. Now, red has got an ore refinery down, although that ore refinery is not going to make too much of a difference. And we can just see the tank numbers now. Blue has just got an absolute ton. And we can see red, what he's trying to do is he's trying to build Tesla coils in that base entrance. The problem is he's got very few tanks left. So as soon as blue goes in, he's got tons of tanks there. He's going to be able to like break through, destroy those Tesla coils, and then red hasn't got much to defend. And we can see now blue's going into that base with a shed load of tanks compared to red. Red's just lost too much. He was trying to go for buildings and it just didn't pay off. And we could just see now he's just got no tanks, not many tanks available. I think he did have one extra ore truck, but when the numbers are just this much in blue's favour. And you can see how hard the tracking is on this map. He's having a hard time getting them into his base, but slowly but surely those blue tanks are trickling in, and now you can see red is getting absolutely annihilated by blue. There's just nothing he can do at this point except watch his base slowly get destroyed. So yeah, it's just one of those things. If you do it to go for buildings, you have to make sure you get some of the major buildings. If you just get minor buildings or no buildings at all and lose tanks, then you can get taken out by the counter-attack, which is exactly what has happened here. And that's red out of the game. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to the game view. So this was just after I destroyed Killer Flow and pulled back a little bit. And you can see blue going into red space here. And what I do, because I can see that blue is doing absolutely great on his own, I go for the run remain in play. So this is orange here. You can see orange has quite a number of heavy tanks. He's been able to build them up through the match. What he probably should have been doing is maybe helping pink earlier on, or going to help Killer Flow when I was destroying his base. Because of his large tank numbers and the Tesla in his base, it's going to make it really hard for me to break through. So what I decide to do is that I'm going to pull back. I'm just keeping an eye on blue, but as we saw in the other part, and we pull back. But as soon as we pull back, orange comes out of his base, and then we just turn on him because we got the better tank numbers. Here, and you can see orange losing quite a few of those heavy tanks, and we see this battle going on. Is orange going to keep on fighting, or is he going to pull back into his base? We can see those heavy tanks going back into the base, but he has lost quite a number, and we've been able to do a lot of damage to some of the other tanks that have gone back in. So he's got some wounded tanks. And again, I decide to go back and pull back, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the other side of his base, because that's going to be easier to attack than probably the side that I've got now. But as we go, we see those ore trucks going out. So now we're going to try and destroy those ore trucks and damage his economy, take it out. We managed to get 2 of those ore trucks down. We almost get a 3rd, but he just manages to take it back in time. And yeah, that was a bit of an error there. Those ore trucks just came out, and we were able to take quite a few of them out. And then we see blue going into orange's base, and then I know it's a time for me to attack. So I'm just going to go through this point now because his tanks have moved. I'm going to be able to take out those Tesla quite easy because I have low HP. And I'm just going to take all my tanks into his base. And I decide to go for power plants at this point. Just take them out, and then that'll just disable any Tesla. And once he's low on power, and that is pretty much good game. Yeah, so it was just a bit hard to get into his base, but yeah, it was inevitable that this was going to happen. And there his buildings are sold up, and he is officially out of the game. So, hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching.